Hey, it's Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist in Prachon, Montenegro, doing some work on my summer home. And I wanted to make a little video for you guys. Is offshore banking and is having an offshore company illegal? It's a common question when you search around the internet and when you look at, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, and you want to save some money. You want to follow my 5 magic words. Go where you're treated best. And you say, hey, if I can go offshore and save a lot of money in taxes and I can do it legally, why not? The question is it legal? People get a little concerned, is going offshore illegal? Because you've basically got 2 camps that have largely dominated the airwaves, so to speak. One is the social justice crusaders who basically tell you how horrible it is that you're depriving big countries like the US and others of tax revenue because they needed to give it away to other people, right? They need to give your money away, so you need to pay it, and they almost make it feel like, yeah, it's pretty shady, man. The other side is the people who actually sell the stuff. We had the Panama Papers not that long ago, and people look at this and they say, wow, these guys who are these quote-unquote lawyers in these crazy island jurisdictions, and guys who use pen names and all these different kind of shady characters. How do I know if I can trust them? How am I going to track them down if something happens? What are they telling the truth, or is this just hiding out? And for a long time, offshore was based on hiding your money, right? And even when you watch, turn on your TV, watch some of the TV shows and talk about how they say, oh, they're sending money down to some money hole to be hidden away. Or you watch these videos from the tax justice crowd and they say, people are hiding their money in different jurisdictions. Going offshore, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're living in the 21st century and you're not 87 years old, going offshore is about legally reducing your tax, legally increasing your asset protection. For those of you who run businesses that are subject to litigation, I know a lot of Amazon sellers, e-commerce people sell products that may have product liability issues. Yes, you can buy insurance, but going offshore can help you with that. So going offshore, first of all, isn't only about saving taxes. There are some people who go offshore just because they want better banks, better stability, better customer service, different currencies. They want asset protection. They want other things, and it doesn't affect their taxes at all. So that you can go offshore fully legally and still pay full taxes. Obviously, for the people that I work with, the goal is some of those things or all of those things, as well as legal tax reduction. So if you're from the US, Canada, Australia, wherever, and you run a business and you're paying a lot of tax, yes, it is legal to set up an offshore company. Yes, it is legal to open offshore bank accounts for yourself as a person, as well as for any companies that you set up. Now, there are 200 countries in the world plus territories. How do I know if Vanuatu says, hey, offshore banking is illegal here? So check with your tax advisor. I'm mainly talking to Americans, Canadians, Australians, etc. The general rule is if you're a U.S. citizen, you report any offshore bank accounts within certain limits, but generally you need to report them. You report all of your offshore companies and basically file a U.S. tax return, even if you don't owe U.S. tax. Other Western countries are somewhat in the same boat where, depending on where you live in the world, you have to report and you have to file. Now, reporting doesn't mean it's bad. It just means you have to report it. Every country has their own rules for what has to be reported, how it has to be documented. But paying zero tax is legal if you follow the rules. Every country has their own rules. And obviously that's what we do at Nomad Capitalist, is make sure that people who come to us and make sure that people who read our website know what the rules and regulations are in their country so they can go out and do it legally. You don't need any secrets to figure out how to go offshore illegally, right? The good news is, especially if you're a U.S. citizen, they've made it very difficult where banks report you, and it's harder to do it the shady way anymore. There are no more numbered bank accounts. All the stuff that you hear about in the movies is largely just fiction. So the good news is you can go offshore. You can open offshore bank accounts. You can do offshore companies. Within certain parameters, you can legally pay no tax or drastically reduce your tax depending on where you live. There's a lot of different variables that we can't go into in one video. But yes, it is legal for most people, particularly in the Western world. Yes, you do have to report it, but the point of going offshore is to go where you're treated best. That means more money in your pocket. Before, when I was living in the United States and I was doing very well, I was paying a lot of taxes, and some of the money that I saved is what I can come to Montenegro and buy a beach house, right? And do other things and, live a better lifestyle, give more money back. So it is perfectly legal. There are things to report, but, it's not about hiding. In the 21st century, we're not about hiding our money. We're not about running and hiding and squirreling away and doing any of that. We're about legally going where we're treated best, filling out forms when we have to, even if we may not agree with them, but we do it because it's the legal thing to do, and we want to stay legal, and we want to keep enjoying the benefits of this lifestyle and the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle. So the answer is yes, offshore banking, offshore companies are legal. There are some caveats, but it's nothing that a professional can't help you sort out relatively simply. It's just a matter of figuring out the specifics of your situation and what needs to be done for you to be able to go offshore and have all of the benefits that we talked about.